Hey everybody, welcome back to another Deck Profile Friday. And this one we're going to be looking at a deck from the 2012 Pokemon format, which was from Heart Gold, Soul Silver base set to Black and White's Dark Explorers. So there's about 10 sets in between. Including the two, and then obviously the promos for each of their respective gens. And this is a pretty cool format, as you know, the game is a lot slower, and decks that were actually allowed to set up, right? But there was a few rush decks, Darkrai and Mewtwo, right? Obviously those are the two big EX Pokemon, but there were some setup decks, that's for sure, right? And the one that I'm talking about here, the setup deck that I'm talking about, is the one that actually won U.S. Nationals that year in 2012 by John Roberts II, and that is Klinklang. And when I seen this deck, I actually just really liked it because I like the Pokemon lines, I like the energy counts, I just really like the way that it was played, and then the trainers, it just had, like everything going for it. The trainers were good, the search was good, right? And yeah, it literally just had everything going for it. So the list I'm about to show you is not his exact list, right? It's not John Roberts 2 exact Klinklang list. This list is my own list, just with a few cards changed. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. And to start, we have the boy himself, Klinklang. We got 3 of these, and these are curved like really hard. Like, look at this. Look at how much they're curved here. This is, the story of the black and white hollows at the time. I got a single Klang, and then 3 Klink. Right, a 3-1-3 line. Klink here, this is, I think, probably the best one. 60 HP. 3 retreat, resistance to psychic, weakness to fire, smash turn does 20, and then you can switch it with one of your bench, which is cool. And then we have the Klang, which has 80 HP, same retreat cost, resistance, and weakness. Right, 2 attacks, charge beam for 20, flip a coin if heads, attach an energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon for 2 colorless, and then Vice Grip for metal, 2 colorless, it does 50. And then to the boy himself, which the deck is based upon, Klinklang from Black and White base set. It's got 140 HP. Once again, same retreat cost, resistance, and weakness. But where it, really shows its colors is in its ability shift gear. As often as you like during your turn before you attack, you may move a metal energy card a metal energy attached to one of your Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon. So this is great, if you're able to, combine cards like Max Potion, right, for healing, right, or, trying to retreat something, right, which is awesome. And then it's attack there, Gear Grind for metal 2 colors. Flip 2 coins, this attack does 80 damage times the number of heads, so a possible 160 on a stage 2, which is incredible, especially in this format, right? As not everything has lower than 160 HP, but there are a few things, right? And it could come in clutch if you're able to hit 2 heads. So that is Klinklang, right? And he is not an attacker. He is just there to move energy around, right? Now we're going to get into the main attackers. And obviously, with Next Destinies, the set before Dark Explorers, right? That's the 2 sets in this format that actually had EXs in it. And if you remember, EXs had 2 prizes, right? When you knock them out, you take 2 prizes. And so here we actually play a lot of EXs. We play a pair of Darkrai EX. We play a pair of Groudon EX. We play a Kyogre EX. A Shaymin EX. And then lastly, our non-EX attacker, right? Which is really cool. Cobalion. Just a regular Cobalion. And yes, it's a full art. I do not have the regular one for some reason. But yeah, Darkrai there, 180 HP, 2 retreat, resistance to psychic, weakness to fighting. Right, hence the reason why we play Groudon for opposing Darkrai. Its ability there, Dark Cloak. Each of your Pokemon that has any dark energy attached to it has no retreat cost. So if you play something like a Rainbow Energy, and that's in play, right? And keep in mind, with Rainbow Energy, you can move it around with Klinklang. You're pretty much giving all of your Pokemon free retreat, which is awesome, which is, absolutely unheard of. So, and then it's attack there for 2 dark and a colorless. Night Spirit does 90 and then 30 to one of your opponent's bench. So it 2-hit KOs EXs, right? And then can chip, 30 damage here and there, right? Great at knocking out like Clefairs or, like little basic Pokemon like Klink, right? Klink only has, 60 HP, right? So it can, 2-shot that with a Night Spear, right? You can get 3 prizes in a turn, right? Very similar to, Landorus EX and its Hammerhead attack, right? 30 and 30. So that's really, really good card. Groudon there, 180 HP, 4 retreat this time, which, the retreat cost really doesn't matter with this deck, but, still, resistance to lightning, weakness to grass. Its attack there, first attack for a fighting Kellis Chomp, it does 20 damage, and then it does 10 damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, right? So nice 20 damage and 10 spread. And then its second attack there, Giant Claw for 2 fighting and a Kellis. It does 80, and if the defending Pokemon has 2 or more damage counters on it, this attack does 40 more damage. Right, so possible 120 there, right? Times 2 due to weakness. Makes sense, right? That's 240, which is a knockout on pretty much, anything that's weak to it. So like Darkrai. Kyogre there, it's got 170 HP. Once again, the same retreat as Groudon with 4. No resistance this time, which makes sense because it's a water type. And then weakness to lightning. So this card's actually really cool here because it's got an attack there called Smash Turn, which is the same as Klink. Right, it does 30 damage for water and colors, and then you may switch this with one of your bench. Right, so typically if you use that, you'd want to switch into something that can take a hit, and then just max potion all that damage, move your energy to it, retreat it, and then do the same thing over and over. And then it's a second attack there, which is awesome. This is probably the best attack on the card. Dual Splash for 2 water and a colorless. This attack does 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's a 50 snipe to 2, right? So you can kind of pick off things with that. But, yeah, pretty cool. And if I remember correctly, I think the Celebi Prime, which was another card that was played in the CMT deck, Celebi Mewtwo Tornadus, right? It has 60 HP. So, if you're able to dual splash a couple of those, and then just use Groudon EX's Tromp the following turn, right? You'll be able to score 2 knockouts on those as well. Shaymin, right? The grass type, the lone grass type in the deck. It's got 1 retreat, resistance to fighting, which is not too bad. You know, it's great against things like Terrakion, right? And then weakness to fire, which, you know, actually is a pretty good weakness in this format. Its first attack there, Synthesis. Search your deck for a grass energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon. Right? We don't play grass energy, right? And you can't search out special energy with this. But it's mainly there for its Revenge Blast attack, which does 30 damage for a grass and colorless. And then it does 30 more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if they've taken 5, right, that's an extra 150 damage for a total of 180 damage, which, once again, one-shots pretty much all cards in the format at this time. And then lastly, the single prize attacker in Cobalion there, 120 HP, 2 retreat, resistance to psychic, and then weakness to fire. Its attack there, energy press for metal colorless. It does 20 damage, and then 20 more damage for each energy attached to the defending Pokemon. Right, so, you know, it's a decent card to go against things like Mewtwo there, right, that like to have a ton of energy. And then its second attack there for 2 metal and a colorless, Iron Breaker, it does 80. And then the defending Pokemon can't attack during your opponent's next turn, right? So that it means they're active Pokemon. Pretty cool. And that is all the Pokemon in the deck. That's all the attackers, right? Just a 3-1-3 Klinklang line. And then these 7 Pokemon. So, pretty cool. This, you know, I really like decks like this that have like a variety of attackers that, you know, can utilize that, you know, that special energy, that rainbow energy, you know, to, you know, use whatever's needed at that time. Right, I think that's the best way to play Pokemon. So, all right, on to the trainer supporter and stadiums. Right, we do play N. We got 4N. Right, which is awesome. We have 4 Professor Oak's New Theory, another really good one, and then 2 Copycat. So these here round out the supporters. There's only 10. Right, N. Both players shuffle their hand in and then draw cards up until the number of prizes that they have. So they typically want to use it with like on your opponent when they have 1 card left. Professor Oak's New Theory is a shuffle and draw 6. Copycat, you shuffle your hand in and then draw cards equal to the amount of cards in your opponent's hand. So it's really good. And that is it for the supporters. No stadiums, no stadiums, no stadiums. Right? The reason Juniper, the reason why it's not in here, I'm not really too sure. But if I had to take a guess, it's probably because all the cards in here are just way too important to discard. So that's why it's not in there. Now on to the regular trainers. And keep in mind as well that, you know, Black and White introduced items. Right? So they're just not trainer cards anymore. They're items. Right? Because they got their own subclasses. There's items, supporters, stadiums, etc. So we have 4 Eviolite, right? If the Pokemon this card's attached to is a basic, any damage to it is reduced by 20, which is good. 4 Heavy Ball, another really good card for this deck. Search your deck for a Pokemon with a retreat cost of 3 or more, which is like practically everything, barring like Shaymin and I think Darkrai, right? And obviously Cobalion, so it's really good. Gets you your Groudon, gets you your Kyogre, gets you your whole Klink line, right? And the other thing too, it can search out, you know, in the Klink line, Klinklang, right? So this is one of the few cards in the game that can search out its basic and evolution with no drawback, right? It's just a nice 1-for-1 search, which is awesome. And then we have 4 Max Potion, right? This is to heal heal all damage from one of your Pokemon, and then discard all energy attached to that Pokemon. So the idea with this is, it plays very similar to Darkrai Hydreigon, on the next format, right? When Dragon's Exalted gets released, right? You just move the energy off and then you heal. We have 3 Junk Arm. Discard 2 cards. Get a an item or trainer card, right? Back from your discard pile. To put it in your hand, right? So this cannot grab supporters. It's only trainer cards, which is item cards. We got 3 Rare Candy, right? So another really good card, right? Rare Candy, evolve these basic to stage 2, and you can do it quicker than just evolving normally. 2 Pokémon Catcher, another really good one here. It's just a gust of winds, right? And I think this here, right? This format, 2012, was the first format where you didn't actually have to flip for this, right? And I remember it got errated to say flip a coin if heads, right? Then you can gust something. But in this format, right, I'm pretty sure that you can just auto gust whatever you want, right? Just think about playing base set Gust of Wind. That's how good this was. We then have 2 Pokemon Communication just to make it more consistent with the Heavy Ball. We got 2 Random Receiver. So the thing with Random Receiver is reveal the top, reveal cards from the top of your deck until you find a supporter card, and then put it in your hand. So it's really good draw. And then lastly, a single revive. Put a basic Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench. All right, so this is great at getting, our EXs back. And that is the trainer cards, the trainer supporters, and the stadiums. Right? No stadiums. So lastly, we have the energy. Right? The energy, right? And the energy is one of my favorite parts about the deck. Right? We play 4 Prism energy. We got 4 Rainbow energy. And then 3 Metal. So Prism provides a colorless energy. And then if the Pokemon this card is attached to is a basic Pokemon, this card provides every type of energy. Right? So that's the thing, right? You never want to put that on a Klinklang, because as soon as you do, right, it no longer becomes a, every type, right? It becomes a colorless, and as soon as it's on there, it's no good, right? So you always want to have that on one of your basic Pokemon, so your EXs and your Cobalion. Rainbow energy, you don't have to, right? Rainbow energy, you can move anywhere. And then obviously the metal energy, right? You can do that as well, right? So typically your attackers, Darkrai, Groudon, and Kyogre, right? You're going to want to have 2 in combination of Prism and Rainbow. And then the third energy can be, either those or a metal, because their attacks are 2 of that type and then a colorless. That is the deck, everybody. This is one of my favorite decks in this format, right? Like I said, I just love the way that it plays. And, yeah, maybe in the future I'll get, some 2012 stuff. So, some 2012 matches. I think they may have the stream on YouTube, right, of like the 2012 Nationals or the Worlds. I'm not too sure, right? But, yeah, check it out. And once again, if you like what you're hearing and seeing, then like this video and subscribe to the channel. As that's my goal with this, is to, help everybody out and obviously provide some entertainment. And this is Deck Profile Friday. Don't forget to check out Opening Sunday and Gameplay Wednesday. right? That's the other 2 days that I post. So, and yeah, there you go, everybody. So thank you so much for watching, and once again, see you in the next video.